morning, everyone. This is Positivistine or Ma'am Gabino in her practical life. I just want to share with you the poem, the favorite poem of mine, with the title When People Talk. This is it. When people talk, they simply talk of things not so important. They tell or give, or plainly state, their feelings and emotions. When people start to communicate, they are serious. Their hearts and minds must meet and match. Their thoughts must be harmonious. For talking is a different thing from real communicating. The first is just a one-way street. The second is a crossing. Hello, my dear students. I am here now with you in this recorded lecture, and I hope you will listen very well because after this, there will be questions to be shot to you, to be given to you. So, I need your ears, all ears. You open it wide. You open these ears wide so that you can get all what I want to tell you. Let us have a recall of what we had last time. The types of purposive communication as two uses. What are they? They are four, and one of which is to instruct. The second one is to inform. The third one is to persuade. And the fourth one is to entertain. So what I have now is, what is the use, or what use do I have now as to purposive communication? I am using informing, to inform everybody. Before presenting to you the objectives, let us have the vocabularies, unlocking of difficulties. And I'm very sure that you will encounter these two words or vocabularies. The first one is encode. Code is the root word. What is the meaning of code? Code means word or phrase. What about "n"? The prefix "n". So "n" means to put into. So when we say encode, to put into words. So that's it. The second one is decode. We have again the root word code, word or phrase, and "de" means to remove or to get off. So when you say decode, you remove what is really meant in the word, or perhaps you don't understand the meaning of it. That's why you go beyond the meaning of that specific word. That is decode. You remove the exact meaning. So these two are the vocabularies. I hope you get the difference between encode and decode. Anyway, the root word of these two words is code. They only differ in the prefix, in the prefixes "and" and "de". Now let's have the objectives to identify the examples of purposive communication and to undergo the communication process or the purposive communication process. Not only undergoing but also to know the process of this purposive communication. Okay, let us have now the examples of purposive communication. One is listening. Okay, I am already giving you informations regarding purposive communication examples. And the first one is listening. You need to listen to everybody especially to the teacher when you are in school. So listening. Again, you have to use your ears to open wide your ears. Then the second one is comprehension or comprehending. Once you listen, there should be what? Understanding. I don't think that nobody has understanding once they listen. Once you listen, you understand too. You understand. But remember, there are levels of understanding. We have frustration, we have instructional, and then we have independent. As to reading, so comprehension, frustration, perhaps you get the 0 to 1 score. Then for instructional, 2 to 3 score. And then for independent, 4 to 5 score. So you have the 4 to 5 score. So you identify your level of understanding as to this descriptions. Prostration, do you belong to prostration level? Do you belong to instructional? Or do you belong to independent? From the scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where do you belong? Okay, then after having listening, comprehending, we have also, I have here envelopes, and this serve as my guide in giving you informations. So I am now in the examples of purposive communication. So the third one is critiquing. Okay, critiquing. Once you listen, comprehend, you criticize on what the teacher is saying. If you want to say something, then you go. You say it. You say it. As long as you don't hurt others, you say it. As long as you have your idea, you say it. And that is critiquing, giving your reactions. Then the fourth one is responding to live or recorded discussions. Okay, so I'm giving you time to respond to this live lecture. This live lecture is one example of, or live or recorded lecture is one example of purposive communication. I'm doing this. I have already the application of the example of purposive communication. Then the next one is speaking publicly with confidence. But I want to have this first before having speaking publicly. Explaining passages or text in your own words. Explaining passages in your own words. Once you listen to your teacher, then you have to explain it in your own words. Better if you write it. Let's have non-verbal. You write it. Everything that you hear from your teacher, you write it. Put it into writing so that you will not forget it. Forget all those important details. Afterwards, you write a paragraph. You write these details in a paragraph form. Organize first, then you write this in a paragraph form. Ready for what? For practice and for presentation. Then the next will be, writing reports or academic papers. So you have to put this into writing. The next one is preparing presentation. When you prepare your presentation, there is a practice. There should be corrections of your grammar. You need to correct your grammar, agreement of verb and subject. You need to check your pronunciation. You need to check your pause, your phrasing. Okay, this means you are readying yourself for presentation. Then the final example, speaking publicly with confidence. There will be confidence if you have the practice, the full practice. So I repeat the examples of purposive communication. First, you need to listen. Next, you need to listen in order that you will write more. Then the next will be, after listening, comprehending, listening with comprehension, then critiquing. You say at once or you ask at once. Don't hesitate. Don't be hesitant of asking your questions, of shooting your question to your teacher. By doing so, there will be more clarifications and understanding. So after critiquing, you are of course responding to recorded lecture recorded lecture of your teacher by responding. Then you have to write all these details. Write all these details. Then do this in a paragraph form. But before doing it in a paragraph form, you have to organize first the thoughts, then write in a paragraph form. Then readying for presentation, you need to practice saying this aloud, practice it aloud. But before practicing it aloud, you have to have what? You have to correct your pronunciation. You have to check first agreement of verb and subject, the grammar, then the pronunciation of the unfamiliar words, but avoid using unfamiliar words, just the simple words. If you want to use unfamiliar words, you have to know first the meaning of it. Okay, to be unique, you can use the unfamiliar words. Then for presentation, okay, ready already. You have practiced everything, the pausing, the phrasing, then ready for speaking in public with confidence. Better if you will have also the copy with you, but just a glance. Much better if you memorize it, if you don't look at your copy. If you really write it, you can say it aloud without looking at your copy. So these are very important. The examples of what? Purposive communication. Now let's move to the process. The process, I am what? If you are the speaker, if you are already speaking, then you are the sender. Then those who are in front of you, your listener, the receiver. The ideas are already there. The thoughts you have written, the ideas that you have written in an organized way, those are ideas. The ideas are there. Then you will be delivering it. You are the sender. Your classmates are the listeners. Then, of course, others are encoding. Others are decoding. And then, what about the other? And then the feedback. Decoding. They remove perhaps the other meaning of that, the other words, but they are now giving their own feedback about what you have told, especially if they find out that what you are telling are not from the lecture of the teacher, not from the message of the individual already given that to you. Then they will give their feedback. If they think the one or the passages that you are telling are not from the message given by the speaker, then they will have the decoding and then the feedback. Okay, I hope these two topics or these two subtopics, the subtopics are clear to you. The examples of purposive communication, then the process we undergo in purposive communication. What are the process we undergo in purposive communication? The ideas are there. The sender, I am the sender. The listener. Then, after the listening process, we have the decoding, decoding, encoding the feedback. So these are what the process in the purposive communication. Before leaving you, I just want to ask this question. Why is purposive communication important? Or why is it communication important to us? So this will be answered the next meeting we meet. So this is again the positivist Ma'am Gobino in her practical life. Good day and bonjour.